Getting ready.
Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, whatever you want. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, whatever you want.
Thanks for vibing with
Whatever
us,
you
man.
want,
We're
I'm
gonna
on
be
it.
we're gonna
Whatever
be
you want,
starting
I'm
up
on it.
shortly, y'all.
Whatever you want, I'm
We're
on
gonna be
it.
starting up
Whatever you
shortly. We're
want,
gonna be
whatever
talking
you want,
about
whatever you want, I'm on it. Whatever you want, I'm on it.
we're gonna be
Whatever
talking
you
about
want, I'm on it. Whatever
the
you want, whatever
mindset
you
of
want,
the
whatever you
diaspora
want, I want
and
it. Whatever you
how
want,
we
I'm
are in
on
the
it. Whatever
marketplace.
you want, I want it. Whatever you want, whatever
Stand
you
by.
want, whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, I want it. Whatever you want, whatever you want.
We got a special guest in the studio. We about to stream her up real quick. Get everything started. So let's see what's up with the first guest for the day. We're gonna start loading in some subject matter expert for the day. Let me turn this music down, intro music down. Let's get this page up. We got what 16th Street live from Washington D.C. live and direct. Black Business Matters. Um, Today we're gonna be talking about the mindset of the diaspora. We got a subject matter expert that's gonna be talking about um, the mindset of some of our people when we out here doing business with each other versus um, how it is when we tend to be doing business with everybody else. It's a whole nother story. But it's like when it come to us, it's like what all that? Where's the same love and where's them same excuses and that same willingness to bend over backwards, etc. Deal with what's at hand. But when it come to us, it seems as if it seems as if we don't have any patience for each other. And so we have a special guest that's going to speak to that. That's going to speak to that issue. And so while I get these screens loaded up, I'm gonna go ahead and get her screen queued up, and, we want to listen to this sister um, shed some light on the issues from what she knows and what she would have to deal with as an entrepreneur, and some insight on other companies and what they are forced to deal with, and some of the considerations that they're forced to make, and having to sell to maybe bigger companies and bigger corporate entities that see the potential that they can make in that company if they was to take it mainstream, quote unquote. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start to shed some light on this issue. Let's get let's get the screens loaded up. Let's see. Let's get this layout. Let's get everything going, and we're gonna let you hear from my assistant in a minute. Just give us 1 second. We're gonna get it loaded up. But I mean, have you ever wondered about that? Like, man, if you done business as an entrepreneur, I know I see this all the time. Like, dang, you do your own people worse than you do anybody else. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, just sometimes just total disrespect. I mean, they disrespect you, won't give you no chance, but will give everybody else a chance. And we're going to see, why is this the case? Why do we do this to ourselves sometimes? So let's let the sister speak on this and shed some light on this. And I get back with you guys in a hot second.
This is not going to be a cliche video preaching to Black people on why we should buy Black. I feel like we have enough of those. We should know by now, why we need to buy Black and spend our dollars with each other to create an economy and, strengthen our community. We need more lucrative Black owned establishments, especially to create jobs for Black people. All of this already has been said, but Black people really have a bad habit of getting angry with these larger Black owned companies that make the decision to get white investors or make the decision to uh, get acquired by white owned corporations without really delving into what leads up to that. We don't like to talk about our buying behavior and attitude towards Black owned businesses. So in this particular video, I really want to talk about Black consumers, their buying behavior, and how that influences Black owned corporations who have niche products or services specifically for Black people. So I first want to say, collectively, Black people, we're a lot like other consumer groups with a few important differences, but we're a lot like other consumer groups. We don't buy Black intentionally for the most part. We buy based on our wants and our needs. We buy based on convenience as well. We also like good service. We like pretty packaging, just like everybody else. But one big difference we have compared to everyone else is our attitude towards buying within our community and going, to Black owned corporations for our products and our services. I know, our business and our corporations, we're not perfect. Okay. We need to do a lot of things differently, which I'm going to talk about in another part of this series. But in this video, I'm specifically going to talk about Black consumer behavior. Um, One main thing I notice with Black consumers is how we say we want something for us, but if we get it, you know, and it's too exclusive, we have a problem with it. Black people have a really hard time with accepting exclusivity. Of course, that can all be tied into the system of white supremacy, how we were taught to hate ourselves and value anything based around whiteness, and we were taught to cater to whites and anything that is non-black. And it's funny because I think of how we need something comparable to Chinatown or Little Italy in every city. We need that for Black people. I don't know. We can call it Little Africa or just a new Black Wall Street or whatever. We need something like that for Black people. But with the way we are now, all inclusive and multicultural, we wouldn't even want it. We wouldn't even want it. We would look down on it. It would be too ghetto for us, but those same people who will look down on it will go to a raggedy ass Chinatown or Asian hair supply store that's just as ghetto and unprofessional looking with no problem. That's unfortunately the mentality a lot of Black people have. If it's quote unquote too Black and it's not perfect enough or not fancy enough, we won't accept it. But we will accept imperfection and, simplicity and, from other communities and their businesses. Okay. We say we want something for us, but we are overcritical of it when we get it. On one of my websites, I sell lipstick specifically for dark skinned women and Black women. And one of the biggest complaints I get when I get them is how the lip colors are too dark. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this for us or not? The number one complaint for dark skinned women is that these major cosmetic companies don't have enough lip colors and foundation colors that complement our skin. Then when we get them, they're quote unquote too dark. I kid you not. The last Black woman who told me that was from Africa. She was Nigerian. She sent us a message on our Facebook and said the colors were too dark. So yeah, I'm nosy. So I go on her Facebook page, and the first picture I see, which was her cover photo, was a picture of her and her friend or somebody in her family or something. And they both had on makeup that was way too bright for their complexion. I mean, they look like clowns. And I was just like, this is unbelievable. And, we've gotten that before. We get rave reviews as well. I have repeat customers who are obsessed with the lipstick, but we do get those kind of complaints. And it's funny because when I was thinking of, business ideas that would cater to my divine dark skin audience, makeup was the first thing I thought of. So I reached out to a friend of the family who is a cosmetic chemist, to learn about formulas and the legalities as far as, packaging and everything that goes into selling cosmetics. So, when we were talking about color choices. And the first thing she said was, well, we need darker colors off top. We need colors that women don't have to alter to look good on their complexion. And, I was all gung ho and excited. I was like, yeah, we need colors that look good in camera flash. We need colors that look good in natural light and clean light. And I know you ladies listening can feel me on that. You put on your makeup and it looks good inside of the house. Then you go out and you look in your car mirror or a mirror in, a department store or something like that. And it's like, whoa, I didn't know this lipstick was so bright. So, that's why I have a lot of bright lighting in my makeup area, or if it's in the daytime when I'm doing my makeup, I'll do it in front of a window, so I can get some natural lighting on my face. But the truth is, some Black women, we don't know when our makeup looks clownish. You know, a lot of us don't know when it just looks a mess. We think we look good with this bright ass lipstick and foundation that's 3 shades lighter, or, Black women will contour and highlight with the wrong colors. And I'm not saying we can't use bright colors, but some of us just really overdo it. Again, goes back to whitewashing and internalized self hate. We over beautify and we try to overcompensate and fix something that we perceive to be wrong or not good enough. So now that we've learned, how that affects buying behavior from Black women specifically, in the cosmetic area, we know why it's never really been done before and promoted specifically to women of a very dark skin complexion. It actually turns off many Black women because of how we feel about ourselves. Like that kind of promotion turns us off. Again, because how we feel about ourselves, how we are perceived in society. We actually feel more comfortable going to cosmetic companies that cater and promote white women first. And then we actually get mad when they don't include us enough in their advertising and their promotion material. It's really insane when you think about it. It really is. I'm like, they're not including you because it's not really for you. You are at the back of the line in terms of their target demographic. You are not at the front. It's not a coincidence that the color spectrum in cosmetics is light to dark. It's light to dark. You ever notice how it's never dark to light? But if black women ever saw that spectrum reversed, they would actually find a problem with it. They would actually, they would be like, wow, I don't know about this. So this is our current behavior as black consumers when it comes to black owned businesses and businesses who cater to a black demographic. Um, Me and my friend were talking about it, and I was like, you almost have to trick black people into buying black. You have to show that you're all inclusive and multicultural to really reach them and get their money. It can never be too black. Notice how Carol's daughter and Shea Moisture and all the rest of them, they have a lot of biracial women on their ads and women with type 3 hair. And I know Carol's daughter, she received some backlash for it and she started to throw up, some darker skinned women. But still, for the most part, they're biracial women, and we get mad about it. But will we buy these, will we buy it if these promotional models were mostly, dark skin and brown skin? No, we wouldn't. We would get mad. That I don't know. It's like we get mad that they only use white people and mixed people. And, we get mad when they only use thin white lips to promote their lipstick, but we don't really respond to it like that as black consumers when it's the other way around. And I know that from personal experience. So the next time you get mad and you ask, why is this happening, know that it's because of us. It's largely because of us and our attitude towards supporting what is actually made for us. Okay. To a certain extent, other people of color have this problem too. Okay. That's why you see the lightest and the brightest on their promotional ads as well. But they at least will spend their money with each other before they will outside of their communities. Black people, we do just the opposite. We are actually more enthused to buy white and non-black before we are to buy black. And I feel like with things like hair products, we're more willing because the white products just don't work. But even then, we'll buy from bigger companies before smaller companies. And many times that has a lot to do with convenience and price and immediate availability. But I know I can go, into a gas station or something that's owned by the Indians and I'll see, their little homemade cookies and fudge and whatever else sitting there and people buy it. And you can tell they're foreign because of like the names of the brands. But the owners put it in their stores because they support their own. And black people, we buy it up. No matter how small or how janky it looks, we buy it. And I know some black people, they have their products in some of these places too, but black people, we do shit like leave our flyers and business cards in these places. We're good at doing that as opposed to going in and actually talking to the owners about buying our products wholesale, and working out a retail price so they can get their percentage. And you'd be surprised, but some of these non-black people and Asians especially are, they're about their money. They'll let you sell their product or your products in their stores, especially if it's like a flea market or something. They'll rent space to anybody if you have the money. It's not as hard as you think to set up shop and get going. If you have something you can sell it. But yeah, black people, we are some of the funniest acting consumers when it comes to buying black products and services specifically for blacks. So if you're a business owner or you aspire to be one in 2016, I strongly recommend that you provide a service instead of a product, okay, that reaches beyond a black demographic, at least to start out. Because I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience, just initially marketing to a black demographic has many disadvantages, including the resources and capital that will not be available to you. So, in part three, I'm going to talk about strategy and branding and separating your target demographic. And I'm going to give you some examples of how white and non-black owned corporations do it all the time. And they do it right under our noses. And we buy all their shit up. We really do. So I'm going to talk about that in part three. So I'll see you then.
I mean, I really don't even have to say too much about that because too much extra because you kind of like hit the nail on the head and it's kind of like nothing else to say. I mean, yeah, I'm a black business owner and I've seen it firsthand. So I mean, like it's really she doesn't have to really say too much in terms of what we already know to be the case. And so what I'm going to say in closing is that man, black business matters, and that make sure that we do with it what we have to do to keep our money circulating in our own communities, and then make sure that it stops right here. This cycle stops with this generation right here. So with that being said, we're gonna close out and we're gonna keep running all night, continuously throwing content. So at some point, people who get on board with us can look back and say, "Hey, I want to look back at these other shows and learn." So we're going to continuously be putting content out around the clock. So if you up, it's better to get some of this knowledge rather than to be, on Pornhub or whatever you doing, man. Allah knows best, man. Hopefully you studying and you on path and on purpose. But man, instead of being doing all the big wild stuff, listening to music, watching movies on Pornhub, whatever you doing, man, like get your mind on your money, stay on path, stay on purpose. Remember, it's B1, and we out, man. Black business matters.